Okay, welcome to putting together the updated 4x4. So the kit will come with a board. This is a special DC801 version of the board. You'll get a header helper. I'll show you to use later. You have one RJ45 jack, surface mount, 8 orange 0603 LEDs, 8 150 ohm resistors to go with those LEDs. You will have 4 10 ohm, 10 microfarad capacitors. You will have 2 5.1K resistors. You will have 2 100K and 2 200K resistors. This goes with the clock circuit if you want to go 1 second or 2 seconds, or split your board and have one at 2 seconds and one at 1 second. Then you have your USB-C port. Then you have 2 capacitors. Those will be 22 microfarad. And then you have your 2 Schmidt diodes and your 2 LDOs. These are the AZ1117s, I believe. These are your 3.3 volt converters from 5 volts. And then you will have 32 headers in the kit. So you'll have quite a few. That's everything in the kit that you'll need to put together. And then for this, I will say so put your header helpers off to the side, everything else on the side. I'll zoom in now. We'll focus. This one does have some harder soldering if you want to use a USB-C to C cable to charge this. The Ethernet jack connection for this is really small. So I like to just pre-populate some of these. In as well as the ground pads there. This is probably the hardest part to put on. I will do it first, just to kind of get it out of the way. Okay. See if I can zoom in a little bit more. Okay. Zooming right in on this. I didn't quite put my phone to tap it and hold it in place. If you have a thinner tip, it would be wise to use it at this time. Do the 5.1K resistors. Go on either side here. of that USB-C port. If you have hot air, I highly recommend you using it for that USB-C port, because I did not make those control pins extra long, so it might be a little difficult with your basic iron to do, kind of like this one. All these other parts I did extend and give you enough room. The C14 and C10 are your two bigger ones, or on the other board, I believe I renumbered everything, so they might be updated numbers for that, but they're the bigger ones on the right of each of those. Alright. Let's get these resistors done. Touch up both sides. I mean, these capacitors. This other capacitor is used 4 spots. This is your 10 microfarad capacitor. Let's open them up. These also do not have polarity. So that should be pretty easy to do. Like always, I always like tagging one side. Of the pad, so it makes life really easy to go through. That looks pretty good. Okay. Set the harder ICs. Try these two little ones. These are your Schmidt diodes. Really small packaging, but I do extend the pads to make them really a lot easier to solder. To zoom in on this so you can see it better. Stick that one pad on. It sticks. This I think I didn't do quite enough. Okay. Should just be like that. Won't take much to solder. Which one of those pins? If your solder doesn't quite go on, your tip probably needs to be cleaned. Okay, let's do this other one. Nice and simple. Tin that. And I'm going to come over here and tin these pads. Well, okay. Zoom back out. Our power, regular power chips. Pretty straightforward to put these on. Just tag them in place. So you can come back through. And this. Solder. Okay. Too much solder on some of these. I just like to do it so it barely covers the top. And pins. Okay. That gets the basics done. So now, if you want to do half clock, you take one of the 200K resistors for 2 seconds, take it out. And put it there. And then you can just save the other piece. That same thing goes with the 100K. So it's basically 2 seconds and for the 200K and 1 second for the 100K resistor. If you want to do other different timing. You can replace the resistor with a larger one or a smaller one. Larger one for slower timing, and a smaller one for faster timing. Okay, then on the out perimeter of the board, we have the resistors, and the diodes. This is all for kind of fun. So when the board's on without any mini badges, these are tied with the clock circuit. To blink away. So just choose resistors or the diodes first. I should do the resistors first. Get those out. Okay. Just go around and solder them together. Okay. These are tied to the 5-volt power. Something to be aware of. Okay. So you have all those done. You can go through, touch them up. Make sure you periodically just clean your iron tip as you go through. Touch them up as you go around. Sometimes Okay. Looks pretty good. Let's do the LEDs. Careful when you're opening it. If you do it all at one time, they can blow up. Out of the package. Okay. So with these, there's a little arrow. Maybe flip it. Should be a little green. Those should all go into the box. So let's carefully just go through. And solder that through. Make sure you tin your tip periodically as you're doing this. As well. For the most part, they're all set the same, other than this one diode over here. That is a little bit different in direction. So overall, the difficulty of this board is not very high. Other than the control pins on the USB-C. That's the most difficult part that I recommend you if you have a hot air gun, you do hot air for that one. First, you're gonna have all of them bridged, like what I have on this normal. This point, you can plug it in. So power only, you can tell. This is with a USB A to C cable. But you can tell that it all works. So here I would recommend doing the Ethernet jack. If you want to do this, this is for badge to badge communication. Do not plug in an Ethernet cable to your computer, as this will just provide 5 volts straight through, and that will be not good on any network device that you connect to. Okay. This one, just put down some solder on one pin, hold it down. Do it. I like to put enough that it just goes onto the top of the pin. And this guy going through. So information on this jack are out on my GitHub, as it's a modular display, a MiniBadge display network connector that provides your SDA, SLC, so your I2C, as well as power and ground. So this one, I sometimes want to do a little bit more, make sure it's on really strong. Nice shiny. Looks pretty good. Does make doing these headers a little bit harder. Okay, now let's get to these headers. So you want to go through and put all the headers in the sockets, like so. Takes a little bit of time. All right. Not bad. This is where the header helper that also works as your stand will become useful. Okay, this last one's in. Okay, ready to take your header helper, line it up with the board, and just slide it through. And then it basically will stop on that USB-C port, which is perfect. Then you can flip it over and put it down. And now all your headers are in line. And now you can go through. I like to, if you have a K-tip or a drag soldering tip, it's very useful at this stage. But you just go through and just solder all these in. Thicker solder is also helpful when you do this. This is really thin solder, so it does take a little bit more effort. To go about it. If you did mess up on your USB-C, I recommend not doing the headers right by that port until you get it fixed, as you might melt, and it does become a little bit more difficult to solder them. a lot of these pins on. And then up here by the Ethernet jack, you just need to be very careful. As the jack is really close to a few of these pins. So you just want to really be careful. So you go in, just kind of show you there that it is very close. Let's finish up around this Ethernet jack. Okay. And if you look at it, it came out really good. So now you can take your mini badges, and they should all just fit in. So I'm just going to take a few of these. Mini badges from my last video. Just throw them in. Show. The header helpers worked. Coming in really nicely. Looks good. Okay. So if I'm all in, you can use your stand to hold it in place. Zoom out a little like that. This one I know at least the USB-C is connected right. If you're going in, plug it in. Looks like only one of these has, oh, two of them have clocks, and they're both on the same side. So let me move this clock. Give you an idea of the 1 second and then the 2 second durations. And that's how you do this 4x4 mini badge display holder. Thanks for watching.